Years ago, we put a time capsule up here, and Natalie is putting her contribution to the time capsule. And it's kind of like the olive jars, but they're on a more personal note. So
don't tell people what it says. I don't want people to know I wrote it.
Yeah, Natalie wrote something to put in it. It's kind of sentimental, but it's neat. I suspect all my buddies will be reading it anyways because they come up here also. Natalie, is this a pretty cool lake?
Yeah.
Yeah? You having fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, you bored stiff?
Not really.
Yeah, it's a different kind of trip. You know, I found out yesterday was our first day in, and I realized immediately that's a different trip. It's a little harder with two people. I don't see how people who solo do it. I was stir crazy in 5 hours. But Natalie and I'll figure out what we need to do, and we'll fish a little more, and we'll paddle a little more, and we're going to do a lot more different types of trips, little trips, and this is definitely not going to be the 100 fish day smallmouth fishing trip because neither one of us quite frankly want to do that. But here we are, and Natalie's trying to figure out how to get the pelican box open, so I'm going to help her out. And here Natalie and I are getting ready to jump back in the canoe and go do some paddling. Like I said earlier, this is a different kind of trip. But we're going to go out and try our luck doing some smallmouth fishing right now. The wind's died down enough. It seems like we can do this and be alright at it. If you notice, Natalie's wearing gloves. She's not necessarily wearing them because she's super cold, but the bonehead that I am, I forgot the sunscreen. So Natalie's pretty fair complected, and this is a pretty good way to keep her hands from getting sun poisoning like they did last year. So kind of a bummer on my part, but in the rush to get everything done, I just must have forgot that. So Natalie, here we are on Third Bay Campsite.
Yeah.
We've had a pretty good day of fishing, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah? Caught maybe 30 today total. What's for dinner?
Red beans and rice, and we're baking bread.
We're baking bread?
We're baking bread.
How do you bake bread in the Boundary Waters?
Find a way.
What is that called?
A reflector oven?
It's a reflector oven?
Yeah.
What kind of bread are we baking?
Lemon poppy seed.
Whose choice was that?
Mine.
You think it's going to be pretty good?
Heck yes.
Yeah, I'll come in here a little bit and we'll take a look and see what exactly it looks like. And there we are, guys.
It looks like it's almost done, actually.
We are getting ready for some red beans and rice and lemon poppy bread.
Lemon poppy seed?
Lemon poppy seed bread. I'll tell you what, this is really easy to do. I did this the first time up in the Boundary Waters last year in the fall, and it was a hit. And I wasn't going to do it this time because it's just a lot of work, but you know what? This is perfect. I mean, the day was a pretty nice day of fishing, and the poppy seed bread is just going to top it off. And here we come over here, and here is my new GSI cook kit, and I am making some red beans and rice. So that's almost done. It's getting close. Hopefully it'll be good. Well, here we are, day 3. It's Monday. We've been windbound and rainbound pretty much all day. This is obviously not the kind of day I'd like to have. It started out this morning at about 35. Yeah, it's 35 degrees, and it's about 50 right now. Natalie and I didn't get out. We didn't go canoeing. We didn't take the canoe out. I fished a little bit from the shore, but for the most part, this has been a busted day. Now it's just raining, and it's a cold, cold rain. So I'm under the rain tarp. Natalie's in the tent. But you can't predict the weather up here, and this is one of those days that you obviously can't predict. So I'm glad we brought some warm clothes, but if it does a little more of this the rest of the week, we might be leaving early. Natalie and I talked about maybe paddling out to American Point tomorrow and just making it a short trip. You know, you really can't deal with stuff like this. The tent's leaking a little bit. It's kind of getting cold, and a cold, miserable, rainy trip isn't what I'd like to end on a note. So that's what we have for now. One other thing, I was mentioning to Natalie that the bugs are down. Obviously, you know, with a 35-degree night last night, the mosquitoes are out and the black flies are out, but they're not biting, and I think that's just obviously because of the weather. So that's one of the positives. I was telling Natalie early today that she's been through pretty much every kind of trip you can have. She had a trip where it was really, really hot. She had a trip where the fishing was just fantastic nonstop, and now she's having the type of trip that I swore would make me never come back. The first couple trips that I went on, it rained pretty much every day, and it was very similar to what we're experiencing today. Cold, wet, miserable conditions. So we'll see what happens. So here Natalie and I are back in the tent. Did I mention it's cold and rainy? Natalie, is it cold? Pretty cold? Yeah, like I said, this is one of the coldest trips I've been on. I've had 32-degree weather in the mornings, but it would generally warm up to 60 or so in the evenings. It started out at 35 this morning, and it's about 49 or 50 right now, so it's been really cold. And we've been pretty much stuck in the tent all day. I tried to get out and solo paddle the canoe earlier just to see if I could go do some fishing, but didn't happen. And we're doing a cardinal sin here, I know it. One of my rules is never eat in the tent, but we're eating some cheese snacks and a couple other things. I'm going to take the packages and stuff and take them back outside when we get done, but it's just too dang cold outside. About some of the water in my tent. Here really is the only water I've got. If you look, just a little bit coming in through the corners there, and over on Natalie's side there's a little bit coming in through the corner there. So when I was outside, I looked in a cup that I have out there, and it's got about 3 inches of rain in it, so it's rained pretty good all day. And I guess for the amount of rain that I've been getting, you know, maybe those little dribbles in the corners isn't that bad. Maybe my tent is actually bomb-proof, like I've always said. So here it is, Tuesday morning. It's about 9:30. Natalie and I went ahead and decided to paddle out. It's pretty calm right now, but it rained all night. It's still only about 45 degrees. It was another real cold night. We're wet, we're cold, we're kind of miserable. It's really not the kind of trip that you really want to have. Today's probably, believe it or not, would be the best fishing day out of all of the days we've had. But we made the decision to go on and paddle out because it's been hit and miss with the weather. And I haven't been feeling very good. I've been kind of fighting some stomach stuff all week, and I think it's just the best for us to paddle out and at least paddle to American Point and maybe wait for a tow, and if we don't get a tow, go ahead and paddle the rest of the way out. Natalie, what do you think? Is that all you're going to say?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
It's been a pretty fun trip?
Yeah.
It's been pretty cold though, hasn't it? Yeah. You coming back with me in August?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Alrighty then, well, we're going to get back to paddling. Okay, here Natalie and I are back at Voyager Canoe Outfitter, and we paddled all the way in from Third Bay, and it's not too bad of a paddle. Got lost a couple times, Natalie.
Huh?
Did we get lost a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of a little worried. Those islands are tough to navigate, but we managed to make it.
Man,
and
we got lucky, and there were other people.
Yeah, I had to ask a couple people. And they pointed me out exactly where I thought it was. But it's been a kind of cold day, and it's still overcast and nasty, and I think we made the right call. I hope it's not sunshiny all the way home. That'll suck. On the road again. I just can't say, but I'm on the road again.
Listen to this.
I'm on the road again. I just can't. I don't know what to say the song because I don't know the words. But we're on the road again, back headed home.